Marvel's D23 Plans, the brand new trailer for Star Wars Andor, and Batgirl getting cancelled. We're talking all this and more on this week's show. I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm Anthony.
And welcome to That Superhero Thing podcast.
Let's do it.
Welcome to round 2 of That Superhero Thing podcast. We've already recorded this once, and then we realised we forgot to turn the recorder on. So, yeah, you missed some cracking jokes, guys, and you'll never know. Apart from our patrons who are listening on the Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of them. We can't even put them as a post-credit scene
No.
like we do sometimes. I'm sure there'll be.
We didn't
I am sure there'll be some bloopers to put in there. But yeah, it was comedy gold. Unfortunately, you'll never hear it. Anyway, we'll crack
bronze.
Maybe. What's tin? Anyway, it's all kicked off this week. We didn't think we'd have much to talk about. Little did we know that on Tuesday it would all kick off and this shit would hit the fan. So we've got loads to talk about. We're going to talk about Batgirl getting cancelled. We're going to talk about loads of other comic news this week. Quite a bit of DC news this week.
There's a lot of DC
Loads
news,
DC
to be
news.
fair.
And then we will be giving you our review in our She-Hulk countdown of Hulk from 2003, directed by Ang Lee and starring Eric Bana, among other people who we will talk about. We'll then be listening to your thoughts and theories on the movie. Oh, not theories, because there aren't any theories. Theories as to why it was made, I suppose. At the end of the show.
Theories as to who still watches it.
Other than us. At the end of the show in Podfans Assemble, we've also got a couple of opinions on the Batgirl news as well, so we'll throw them in. We've got timestamps in the description for you in case you want to skip straight to the review or straight to Podfans Assemble. Don't forget to, if you enjoy the show, please make sure to follow us on your favourite podcast platform and leave us a rating or review. The more subs you get, the higher we rank in the podcast chart, and the more people will get to find the show. Let's just crack on with the news then. Lots of DC news, as we said. I was going to skirt around it a little bit and do other DC news first, but should we just get straight into
Let's just do it.
To the big news. So, on Tuesday, just gone, Warner Brothers, out of nowhere, announced that Batgirl, the film that they have spent $90 million and 7 months filming, has been cancelled months before the release.
I know.
What the shit is going on?
Do you know what? It's one of those, we pretty much assumed it was probably going to be shit.
Yeah. Just a bit.
However, the director and the co-director being at the co-director's wedding, I think it was.
Yeah.
Can you imagine getting that news on the day that you're supposed to be celebrating? Like,
yeah, it's shit.
One of the best days of your life.
At the same time that we all found out as well, apparently.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
That's like up. Finding out through Facebook, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's probably how they found out about it.
Probably. On
Twitter
or something.
Who goes on Facebook anymore?
Me.
Yeah, apart from Anthony.
But when people have put so much work and effort into something, and then the control to be taken completely out of your hands, and they've basically just been told it's never going to see the light of day.
Exactly. It's the fact it's just never coming out. I mean, there's lots of shit movies out there. We were just talking about the monsters. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that's gone straight to streaming.
Yeah.
But shit movies do get made, and you just go with the lowest cost option. This, again, like you just said, people have spent months and so much effort and energy on this.
She's come out off the back of was it In the Heights?
In the Heights,
In the Heights, and this could have been something that, again, not necessarily because of the quality of the film, but propelled her into Hollywood fame and stuff like that, getting her name out there and doing more things.
Yeah.
And again, probably even more than 7 months. She's probably looking at 12 months because she'll have been given the script before that and started looking and training, things like that. And that's just a waste of her time completely.
I agree. I don't think it's actually going to do there's lots to talk about with it, but I think Leslie Grace will now do better out of how it's finished, how it ended up.
Do you think?
Yeah, because everybody seems to feel sorry for her, like I do. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel sorry for her, but she's come across here as probably the biggest victim of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And she's getting quite a lot of publicity from it, and I'm not saying she's milking it or anything like that. That's not where I'm going with it, but if she'd just been in what was potentially going to be a shit Batgirl movie, she might not have got any big roles anymore, purely down to the writing.
There were so many names that are new in it as well.
Yeah, that Brendan Fraser was in it. J.K. Simmons
I'm gutted that Brendan Fraser's in it.
Michael Keaton.
That's only the second thing Brendan Fraser has done since he went quiet.
Disappeared off the face of the earth with Doom Patrol. He's in Doom Patrol, isn't he? He's one of the voices in Doom Patrol, I think.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
okay, 3 then, because he's in a film with Sadie what's her name from
Sadie
Stranger
Sink.
Things.
Oh, is he?
He's done a film with her recently.
Didn't know that.
I don't know if it's out yet or not, but apparently it's amazing.
Okay. Well,
And
at least he's going to be in
she
something
said he was
good.
the most beautiful human being she's ever met in her life. As in, like,
Really?
inside and out, just
That's nice.
so lovely.
He always came across as a decent dude. So, with regards to the reasons why it's been cancelled, apparently Warner Brothers have said, I know, yeah, Warner Brothers Discovery is committed to making DC titles big theatrical event films, and Batgirl isn't that. They plan to work with the directors and the star again in the future, but the film has been effectively cancelled. I don't think they'll want to work with you again, guys. I mean, would you?
No.
Who's going to want to work
Not
with
in a
DC
million
again
years.
now, or Warner Brothers just in general?
Not in a million years.
There's quite a lot of information as well about what the movie's about and what the plot is.
Yeah, to be fair, plot sounded a bit
It
shit,
sounds a bit
didn't it?
naff, doesn't it? What someone on Twitter, viewer and on, who is apparently like quite a reputable scooper, he said that there's no point in holding back the info anymore. Michael Keaton is only in 5 scenes in Batgirl. He doesn't train Barbara. She just dresses up as Batman for a Halloween party, stops some terrorists, and then tweaks the costume to be a superhero. He meets her twice in costume, first on the street telling her not to do this, and then in one of those big Tim Burton-y towers where he helps her with something she needs. The last scene of the movie was them teaming up and diving off a gargoyle to fly around Gotham. Yeah, I mean, it sounds a bit crap. Apparently that story is very in keeping with the latest comic book, though.
Right, okay.
So that's why they've gone that.
Yeah,
that's why they've gone down that route. But yeah, I mean, it sounds a bit naff. It doesn't sound like a big theatrical event.
No.
But put it on HBO Max.
Yeah.
This is the reason they've cancelled this again from numerous reports is that it's a tax write-off.
Yeah.
So they've done this because they can just write off that $90 million in tax. Plus, they now don't need to spend any money on marketing because most movies spend about the same on the marketing as they do on the budget of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's $180 million. But surely it would have. I don't know. Would it have enticed anybody into using HBO Max? Do you think? It's not like the Snyder Cut.
No. Yeah, I don't think it would have brought enough people in.
Again, there's rumours that HBO Max is going as well.
Yeah,
So
I've heard
there's
that as well.
There's a massive press conference today, so probably as we're
To
recording
like,
this.
is it something like Discovery Plus or something?
Yeah, apparently they're going to amalgamate them together, but it's not going to be Discovery Plus anymore, and it's not going to be HBO Max. It's going to be something else that they're going to create. But loads of stuff has been cancelled as a result of this. So non-superhero movie-wise, the second Scooby-Doo animated movie, that's been cancelled. The director said he's absolutely gutted because it's pretty much finished and they've put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
So that's gone as well. There's other DC properties that people are now a bit concerned about. I didn't even know this, but apparently there's a Supergirl movie that's been in the works with Sasha Calle.
Oh, okay.
That's now almost guaranteed not to be going ahead.
Yeah.
So she's now lost that as well.
So do you think this is them now scrapping DC and starting again?
Well, that was the rumour. I read somewhere that Leslie Grace has apparently said that they were scrapping everything apart from Shazam and Black Adam. But since then, James Gunn has come out and said that Peacemaker Season 2 is safe.
Yeah.
So that's not getting cancelled. And somehow, the Flash producer, Barbara Machete, has also tweeted to say that all is good in Flashland. I mean, how? How are we cancelling Batgirl
And not
and
Flash.
Supergirl and not cancelling Flash? I mean, what? Are we serious? What is going on? Do you know what I found? Right, and I don't know if this is correct, but I've read it from numerous sources now. So the Grant Gustin series has just been announced to be finishing, hasn't it? You know, the Flash CW series.
Oh, yeah.
So that's finishing season 9.
Right.
Later this year, starting next year. It's a shortened series as well, so it's normally like 24 episodes, but they're condensing it down to like 10 or 13.
Okay.
So that's going to be the end of it. When The Flash started in 2013, that's when the Flash movie was announced.
Oh my God, seriously?
Yeah, that's how long it's been. So that's how long this movie has been in production now.
That's shocking.
And yet Batgirl's the one that's been cancelled. I don't know what's going on.
No.
What it means for the future of the DCEU, I don't know. We don't know. I don't think
to
even
be
Warner
fair,
Brothers know at this stage.
With Shazam, it's not crossed over with anything within the DC universe yet. So you can get...
There's been mentions of other things, though. Oh, you know, Superman rolled up at the end of Shazam? Just wasn't Henry Cavill.
Who was he?
We didn't see his face.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You can get away with anything then.
You could say it's a different universe.
Yeah. So if they scrapped and started again, potentially they could still have Shazam in that universe. Like you can get away with that. Obviously don't know so much about the Suicide Squad because of Harley Quinn and stuff, and
Yeah, because that's linked as well.
Yeah,
but it could still be different universes.
But Black Adam again is another new one, so it depends on what.
Exactly. But you could still have the same characters
Then
and
again-
actors in certain universes. Look at. I mean, it's obviously a different thing, but Marvel.
Yeah.
You've got Benedict Cumberbatch playing two different or multiple versions of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So you could just have one universe where there's a Margot Robbie Harley Quinn in a couple of universes, and then there's another one with a Lady Gaga.
I was about to say I've
one,
got to
which
backtrack
we'll
a bit with
talk about.
Shazam because
What about?
because in the trailer he talks about all the other people and then there's flashes of Jason Momoa and stuff, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah.
So yeah,
but not Ezra Miller, as we
No.
said last week. So when it comes to the future of the DCEU as well, obviously it's a bit of a guessing game at this stage, but there have been a couple of other bits of DC news this week. So Ben Affleck is apparently in Aquaman 2.
Yeah, I was going to say I've heard
that was this week,
that
so that's been
back.
confirmed. Yeah, so it wasn't actually announced anywhere. It was confirmed on Jason Momoa's Instagram. Because somebody was doing a studio tour, like tourists doing a studio tour of the
Ben Affleck in costume in the background.
Just Ben Affleck there with Jason Momoa, and they filmed it, and they thought, right, well, they're on to us. We better announce this. Yeah. Why not announce that at SDCC? Everyone came out of Comic-Con going, that was a bit meh.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about the fact that Ben Affleck's back as Batman.
Yeah.
Why leave it quiet? But that's what's got me asking the question, why have they now brought him back if Michael Keaton was supposed to be Batman going forward? Because that was the plan, wasn't it? Get rid of Affleck. I
think so, yeah.
And bring it... I mean, we think... Do you know what I mean? I mean, J.K. Simmons' Commissioner Gordon was in Batgirl, but he was Ben Affleck's Commissioner Gordon, and he was going to be in it with Michael Keaton. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, yeah, multiple universes, but it just doesn't make sense.
No.
At all. But at DC last week, just before Ben Affleck it was confirmed that Ben Affleck
was outed.
Back. Yeah. It was confirmed that a guy called Alan Horn's been brought on to work with DC as like a consultant.
Okay.
Now, he'd worked for Disney, helping out with Marvel for a number of years.
Right.
He'd previously worked, I think it was for Warner Brothers years ago, and then he retired, and Disney were the ones who brought him out of retirement.
Okay.
He was a massive supporter of Zack Snyder.
Was
Huge
he?
supporter, yeah. When Zack Snyder was sort of like new to it all, and he was trying to get the 300 green lit, loads of studio execs turned him down because they basically said that we can't make this big budget of a movie and make it R-rated because no one goes to watch R-rated movies and we'll lose a ton of cash. But Alan Horn's the one who said, no, I'm going to back you, I'm going to green light this. So he's been and he's a good friend of Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
So it seems a bit weird that he comes in and then 2 days later Ben Affleck's back in the DCEU, and then 4 days after that they cancel Batgirl, which was the movie that was going to sort of be our first step of moving on without a Ben Affleck Batman.
Yeah.
And sort of proper pushing away from the Snyderverse. So is that where we're going? Are we getting the Snyderverse back minus Ezra Miller?
It's just weird, isn't it?
It's a shit show.
It's just
it is an absolute shit show. Last couple of bits of DC news then. So the DC Super Pets movie came out last Friday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, The Rock spoiled the post-credit scene. As you do, 2 days after it releases. Spoilers, if you don't want to know what it is, fast forward 2 minutes.
I don't want to know what it is.
Don't you?
No.
You don't want to know what the post-credit scene is?
No.
It's nothing major.
Oh, okay.
It's nothing big. So, spoilers. Spoilers for Anthony. Basically, it's just Black Adam rolling up with Black Adam's dog.
Oh.
And talking to Superman. But The Rock is doing the voice of Crypto and Black Adam and Black Adam's dog.
Okay.
Self-obsessed much or what? But he did say at SDCC, somebody said who'd win in a fight between Black Adam and Superman. And he said it depends who's playing Superman. So was that a hint at that's where that's going? Is that where it's going? Are we going to restart the whole DCU and it's all going to be centered around The Rock? Because his production company are the production company who've taken it, who are doing Black Adam and Super Pets. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were trying to sort of push this whole thing now with The Rock being the equivalent of Superman and they just get rid of Superman completely. I could see that.
Could you?
I don't like it, but I could see them going down that route.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully not. Last bit of DC news that has just broke now. Joker 2 has been now confirmed to release October 4th, 2024.
Yeah.
And Lady Gaga is confirmed.
Yeah.
She, via her Instagram, she dropped a teaser. It's not really a teaser. It just says Phoenix, Gaga, Joker. October 4th, 2024. That's pretty much it. Deadline have confirmed today, though, that apparently it is going to be a musical, and it's going to be mainly set in Arkham Asylum. So I don't know what's going to happen. I assume it's just going to be those two talking and singing to each other for 2 hours. That.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think that could be quite cool, to be fair.
Do you?
Yeah, the only reason being is that if it's set in the Arkham Asylum as well, and it's essentially about crazy people.
Massive
and
musical
it's like
numbers.
What's going on in their own heads. It could be absolutely fucking anything.
It could be amazing.
And I kind of like that.
There's so many opportunities for cameos as well.
American Horror Story.
I've never seen it.
So there was Asylum. There was a whole series based on the Asylum. By far, for me, one of the best out of the series.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and that was season 2, I think.
Oh, really?
And it was one of the best out of them all. Like, even now when you're supposed to get better as the series go on.
Yeah.
Like, that, for me, is that one and Coven. So, and in Asylum, you have Jessica Lange just break out into song.
I do, yeah.
And start singing, the pepper, banana,
yeah.
And it's so funny. Honestly, they literally suddenly put on this jukebox and everyone's having the time of their life. So I could see it working.
You've sold me a little bit.
Have I?
You a little bit, yeah. Now, because I am just thinking they could go with anywhere. They could have massive, full costumes because it's all in their head and they're crazy. Yeah. Loads of people. Yeah, okay. I'm just so confused by the whole DC slate. I'll be really honest, but yeah, it's interesting. It's different.
Yeah.
I think we said when we first found out it was going to be a musical that'd be all right if all the DC movies were musicals now, and I still feel like I would be. Maybe that's the way. The Rock. I said this at the time. The Rock breaking into song. Do it. Just go down that route. You can't fuck it up any more than you already have, can you? Do you know what I mean? Just take a risk. Take a risk and go with it. So Marvel news then. Marvel are coming to D23 on September 10th, so not long away before our next load of announcements. It's been confirmed that there's loads of panels across that weekend, but the big one that we're interested in is the whole D23 presentation, which is confirmed to be on Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. There was a press release. It basically says filmmakers, celebrity talent, surprise guests from Marvel Studios will join Lucasfilm and others on stage to showcase theatrical and Disney Plus titles going behind the scenes of these studios' highly anticipated films, specials, and series. Attendees will see exclusive footage and be among the first to learn what's in the works. Now, we already know, they confirmed at SDCC that they're going to announce the other 8 projects.
Yeah, I think so.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting news on all those, and I'm still expecting a bit of news about things we've already been told about.
Yeah.
I'm expecting at this stage a Fantastic Four casting announcement.
Reckon we'll get Moon Knight 2 announcement, seeing as that's been hinted at this week.
That's been hinted out, yeah. Wasn't it? Oscar Isaac was in Egypt
with
the director.
Yes.
And somebody said, "Are you filming this?" And he said, "Why else would we be here?"
Yeah.
That's the conversation. So surely that's confirmation. We've also again kind of had it confirmed that Eternals 2 is happening. Patton Oswalt confirmed it.
Yeah.
On Twitter, I think it was.
Yeah.
So again,
random.
That's happening. So that's 2 of the 8. So that leaves 6 slots.
Yeah.
Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds started training for that yesterday. He's put pictures all over Instagram of him in the gym training for Deadpool 3. So we already know that one. So that's only 5. But again, there's other stuff we know. Shang-Chi 2 is coming. Got that out that week. Armor Wars is coming. So we I don't know what else. I don't know what else to expect. Again, I think Fantastic Four casting announcement. It was rumored earlier this week that a big name, a household name, has been cast as Reed Richards and signed a 3 movie contract. So again, if that's the case, that should be announced this week. Yeah. I feel like we're going to find out a bit more information about Captain America 4.
Yes.
We didn't really find anything out.
No.
And as interested as I am in the title New World Order, I feel like that's not going to be the title. And I know they did this years ago when they broke the news.
What, do you think they're going to change it again last minute?
No, I think they just didn't want to give... Right, I know they did this. I know they did this years ago at SDCC.
Yeah.
They put up Captain America, the Serpent Society, and then at the end of the presentation, they said, actually, it's not Serpent Society, it's Civil War. And New World Order just doesn't sound... Not that it's not big enough, but I feel like they're going to... With Sam's first Cat movie, it should be something a bit bigger and something that we know and something that gets people super excited.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we find out, either at D23 or later down the line, that it's not that and it's something else, and they're just going with that name to keep...
Throw us off the scent?
not even that, just to sort of focus on what they want us to focus on. It's like they wanted to let us know Captain America 4 was coming and when it was coming, but they didn't want that to be the main focus of the event.
Yeah.
And now maybe as we move on to another event, they'll shift the focus back onto it.
Yeah.
Maybe it will be called New World Order and it could still be something mega, but it just doesn't feel important enough for me at this stage. Last bit of news then, Andor trailer. So you watched it about 2 minutes before we started recording for the first time. It was also announced when the Andor trailer came out that they've moved the date. So Andor was supposed to be coming out 31st of August, and it's been pushed back 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's now coming out 21st of September. Other Marvel news we missed, they've moved the date back on She-Hulk as well.
Yeah.
So Marvel shows are now going to be Thursdays.
Yeah.
And the 21st of September is...
What are we going to do?
I don't know. We haven't figured that one out yet, guys. But that's the plan.
There's one other bit of news.
What?
2 castings for Ironheart.
There have been. I only know one. Go on. We'll get onto the Andor trailer in a minute,
first of all, now, this is the gay side of me coming out.
Okay.
Massive fan of
what
RuPaul's.
other side of you is there? I've never met him.
So I thoroughly enjoy RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
And we've just found out that Shea Coulee.
No idea who that is, but yeah, go for it.
She's one of the winners of a previous series. She's just been in the most recent All Stars 7 All Winners season.
Okay. Did she win that?
And yes.
Oh, okay.
No, sorry. No,
spoilers.
I was about to tell you who won, but I won't say it just in case there are people that watch it.
I don't
Chances
care.
are there won't be, but yeah, so she's going to be in Ironheart.
Do we know who she's playing?
No, it's not been said who she's going to be playing. And also Anthony Ramos as well.
I know the name.
So he was the main guy in The Heights.
Okay.
He was also Lady Gaga's best mate at the very beginning of Star is Born.
Not seen that either.
And he's also been a cameo in Will and Grace as well.
Not seen it. I'm not doing very well. But I know the name.
But Hamilton, when that was released on Disney Plus, the stage version, he plays Philip.
Not seen it.
Okay.
I know the name.
He's up and coming in musical theatre.
I know the name.
We'll
leave it though, because we're not going to sit here and go through his IMDb page
fine.
until we find something that Nick's seen, because we'll be here all day. But that's good.
But yeah, I'm quite excited about those.
Yeah.
So.
I just hope, and not that I've got a problem with the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race being on it, I just hope it doesn't feel forced. Do you know what I mean? Like we're just pandering. Do you get what I mean? But I think people seem massively excited that she's in it, so I'm kind of excited as well. To be honest,
she's very good.
I just hope I hope it's not one of them things where it's just like, let's just do this. Let's make it part of the story, not this woman's here for some reason. Basically, do you know what? We will get onto Andor in a minute. Can I have a rant?
Go for it.
Right. Not that I read the Daily Mail very often, but what are they on? The Batgirl news broke on the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
Right, and I read it because I thought, well, it's what I'm into, sort of thing.
Yeah.
The whole article was about how it's been cancelled because it's shit, because it was super woke. And it was all, basically, they were trying to push a woke agenda, and that's why it was crap. What's woke about Batgirl? Is it because it's a non-white person playing Batgirl?
I have no
Is that
idea.
woke now?
I have no
Fucking hell, like, do you know what I mean?
Honestly.
There's nothing else that... I mean, I don't like the term woke, but what else from what we know about Batgirl could be considered to be woke other than the fact that it's a non-white person? Come on.
It's usually if you don't fit their box, isn't it? So,
were they
making a lesbian? Do we know that?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know.
What would be the problem? Clearly, but do you know what I mean? Yeah, it wasn't cancelled because it was woke. It was cancelled because Warner Brothers wanted to write off 90 million quid's worth of tax, basically. Anyway, rant over. Andor trailer. You saw it for the first time 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago now. But you saw it for the first time a little bit. Looks really, really good.
Really, really good.
We'll sort of talk through the main points, but it looks like the darkest Star Wars series we've seen. Really gritty, kind of political.
Yeah,
a little bit. Hopefully not like
not too much.
Yeah, not. I don't want to hear about trade routes and all that, treaties and all that sort of stuff.
Let's not go into episode 1, 2, and 3.
They went far too far in the prequels, but yeah, I think it's obviously going to be different to anything we've seen before, because it's going certainly down like a more realistic route. I know obviously there's shots in the trailer of dogfights in space and all that sort of stuff, and that obviously has got to have that element of action. Yeah, but there's no like Jedis in it, or from what we can see, there's no Jedi. it doesn't look like there's. I mean, I know Mandalorian isn't a Jedi, but he's still like a specifically skilled, powerful warrior. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas this is just going to be normal people.
Yeah.
In a fight against the Empire, and I think it's quite a brave decision to go down that route when you've not got really familiar characters.
Yeah.
And I know Cassian Andor was in Rogue One, and we know him from that, and Forrest Whitaker's in it as Saw Gerrera, but they're not massively well-known characters.
No.
Particularly if you're the casual viewer who's watched Rogue One once or twice.
Yeah.
So to make it what looks like quite a thinky series, again, it does come across as quite a brave decision.
It's a
Hopefully
risk, but it looks really intriguing.
I think it does as well. So I mean, some of the biggest points in the trailer, that huge Star Destroyer, that just pulls you into it straight away. Because again, even though it's it seems like quite a grounded series, you've still got massive stuff like that. Loads of, as I said, the Imperial Senate, which hopefully is going to be a bit more interesting than the prequels. It looks like Andor's infiltrated. He's either infiltrated the Empire or he was part of the Empire. I can't really remember his story from Rogue One, but so I don't know 100% where that's going. Stellan Skarsgård from Thor, was in it. I didn't even know he was in it.
No, I didn't know he was in it.
He's always good though.
He is always
so
good.
Hopefully he's going to be. What do you reckon from what we've seen? Good guy or bad guy?
Good guy.
Do you?
Yeah.
I feel like a bit in between. I feel like he's gonna be like a bit of a turncoat, and he's gonna end up being the bad guy.
Do you?
Yeah, or sort of like not completely trustworthy, like Woody Harrelson's character in Solo.
Anything he's ever done?
No. Does he always turn into a bad guy? He wasn't a bad guy in Kingpin.
It's not always a bad guy. He's just more or less always out for himself.
Yeah, I suppose he is, isn't he?
He plays the selfish character that's always out for whatever he can gain.
We should get Woody Harrelson in this.
Yeah.
Missed the trick there. We also see Genevieve O'Reilly as a young Mon Mothma. Now, I didn't know who Mon Mothma was either, and Anthony is looking at me really confused. So, Mon Mothma in A New Hope is the woman who tells them all to go and blow up the Death Star when she says, like, many Bothans died trying to get this information. So she was basically running the rebellion.
Oh, okay.
And obviously this is before the rebellion, so this is, I assume, it looks like it's her basically being part of the Senate and slowly working her way against them towards the rebellion.
Okay, yeah.
But again, that's why it looks very thinky and very dry. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I get the impression that it's only going to end up having like 3 or 4 episodes that are actiony. And I think there's 11 episodes, so it does have me a little bit concerned for it, but yeah, maybe they just, because She-Hulk looks like a bit of a fun series, maybe they're trying to
balance it out.
Yeah, just a little bit. Hopefully the first couple
by
of episodes
changing the days of everything.
Yeah, basically. Well, the other thing is, when Andor was originally supposed to be released, it was going to be episodes 1 and 2 coming out on the first day. Now it's episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to have to watch episodes 1, 2, and 3 on the Wednesday, and then do She-Hulk on the Thursday, and then record on the Thursday night probably.
And hope that you all watch it at the same time so you can podcans
Podcans
assemble.
Podcans assemble. Let's do it. That can be the Patreon name. Other than that, though, I think that is us for news. So, Anthony,
that's the longest news we've done in a while, isn't it?
I can't see the computer, so I have no idea how long it was.
32 minutes.
32 minutes.
Yeah.
I had a lot to say about Batgirl.
Yeah. And you had your woke rant as well.
I had my woke rant as well. Hang on, if you didn't listen, that wasn't me ranting about the things that are woke. Go back and listen.
It's Daily Mail rant. There you go.
Should we talk about Hulk from 2003?
Do we have to?
We have to. Let's do it.
Right. I've got loads of problems.
You've got loads of problems?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Should you want... Right. We're not going to talk through the whole movie, because we'll talk about select scenes of it. It's too long. It's
too long. Far too long.
There you go. There's point number 1. Anthony, I've had my rant. Rant away.
Right, okay. So it ended 7 times.
It's like the Lord of the Rings.
Okay, so there's my first problem. My second problem. Why was Hulk 25 different sizes?
I don't know. I know. So he got bigger the angrier he got.
Well, that's what I was assuming.
That's it. Well, that's what I'm assuming as well. But that's how from the bits that I could get, because there was a lot of dialogue in this that didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I got from it.
Why did they think they were in the 80s? Because they were doing that whole dragging out a bit of B-roll
Yeah.
every 5 seconds.
Dragging out a bit of B-roll, dragging out every conversation.
And then, do you know what I really didn't like?
The whole thing.
You know, like, yeah, pretty much. But you know, like when he looks at a photograph and they're moving in the photograph like it's Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, go away. Stop that. Stop that now.
It doesn't work. Well, that was a summary. We'll get into detail now.
The explosion. And he goes, and then freezes
spins.
and then spins. And I was like, was someone tripping on acid when they did this?
I don't
because
know.
it's not okay.
I don't know. I think, I mean, I had memories of it, but I think I've only actually seen this, not at the cinema, but
I think I've only seen it once.
When it first came out.
And I do not remember. Can we also address the
dogs?
dogs?
I was 18 when it came out. We'll talk about the dogs.
Because they're shocking.
We'll talk about the dogs. I can remember when it came out being really excited for it because it was like the start of... It was at that peak, wasn't it? With like Spider-Man and X-Men and stuff like that. But being really bored for a start and mostly not understanding it. I can remember coming out of the film and being like, what was that all about? And when I came back to watching it, I was like, do you know what? Not that I was looking forward to watching the film because I remember it being shit, but kind of thought, well, do you know what? I'm looking forward to finding out what the story was in the movie because I can't remember understanding it. I still don't get it.
Yeah, I'm the same.
At all. I mean, let's talk about the story. It was overly complicated.
Yeah.
Massively. It
Dramatic.
was so convoluted. There was just so many things going on at the same time that didn't need to be
there. They
added
stuff in. Like, it wasn't just that he was exposed to gamma rays.
No, it was trying to be super clever by making it complicated.
His dad had put something in himself and then had had the baby and the genes had been passed over. And then so he was already a bit unstable.
A bit
and
hulkish.
Then the gamma rays made it hulky.
So it was the 60s, 1966.
Yeah.
His dad, David Banner.
Yeah, I got that. I got that link.
You got the David Banner reference. So he was experimenting on human regeneration for the army.
Was this when they were doing the frogs and the frog healed itself and then went bang?
No, that was no. That's why it's even more stupid. That's Eric Banner. That's Bruce doing the experimenting for regeneration. His dad was also in the 60s.
Okay, sorry.
Doing experiments to try and figure out how frogs regenerate and pass that on to humans. He was doing it for Thunderbolt Ross. So he was the guy managing it. And then he ends up testing on himself. Like you said, he has a kid. And then passes down the Dorman's ability to the kid. Fucking hell. Goes mental. Tries to kill the kid. Ends up killing the mum.
Yeah.
And then gets locked up.
Yeah.
Then Bruce gets adopted by a different family. But somehow ends up working in the exact same field of science as his dad, who he's not met and thought was dead for 30 odd years, and ends up working alongside Thunderbolt Ross's daughter, who they find out halfway through the film, we lived in the same street. It's like, how would you not know this?
Yeah.
It's and then basically gets hit with gamma rays, which looks shit. I mean, we thought
for 2003, I was like, Jurassic Park was better than that.
It was bad.
It was.
So that's what sort of awoke the Hulk ability. It was far too complicated. It was like it was
ridiculous.
just for the sake of let's try and change the Hulk's origin. And I know they did it in the 70s one.
Yeah.
And I get what they didn't need to massively because I mean it was what's that 26 quick maths 26 years later.
Yeah,
I did that.
Like
that. Good that one. 1977 to 2003. Yeah, 26 years. I think maths A level. They should have just stuck right. So the comic origin, I had to Google this because I always think of the Hulk origin as trying to create a super soldier.
Yeah,
because that's what we know now.
Yeah,
that's not what it was. So in the comics, they were just trying to test humans' capability of withstanding gamma blasts for like wars and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then
that's quite straightforward.
That's all it is.
Yeah,
and then what happens is they set up the bomb, everybody goes to safe distance, and then this kid, Rick Jones, who's a massive character in the comics who we've still not seen in the movies yet, he ends up going near it, not knowing what's going on. So Bruce comes out, rescues him, pulls him out the way, pushes him into a ditch, and then takes the full force of the gamma blast. Right. And that's what turns him into the Hulk. Why did it need... I'd have been alright with that.
Yeah.
I mean, super soldier serum, again, it's a different thing, but it's still simple.
Yeah.
We're trying to make super soldiers. I'm going to test this on myself. I've turned into a Hulk.
Yeah.
It doesn't need all this extra shit.
Yeah.
which is trying to make it more interesting, but doesn't.
Yeah.
It just makes it super complicated. And the worst thing is, boring.
Oh God.
It was so
It was
slow.
so boring that every time he had a nightmare, we had to watch this 30-second thing of him falling through the air, and then we're seeing like microscopic versions of membranes and stem cells and shit like that. It was just too much.
It was not even just from the story, just throwing in loads of scenes that didn't need to be there. Establishing characters who we then don't see, like the dude who he actually does save, Harper, I think his name is.
Yeah.
And we like establish a bit of a relationship with him. We find out a little bit about his character, and then you never see him again after the Gamma Blast.
No.
This movie is 2 hours and 18 minutes.
2 hours and 18 minutes. I'm never gonna get.
No,
back.
I know, but it's too long.
It is dramatically long.
I felt like it was trying to be like an epic movie.
And when you think, how many times did he turn into Hulk? 3?
3 or 4, yeah. I think 3. 4. I don't know.
What was it 4?
I don't know. That's too many.
But honestly, it was just...
It tried to be too big. It was like Ang Lee was trying to create like a Lord of the Rings-esque movie. Well, it was because it was trying to be massive. And I think when you try and make films, when you try and make them big, sometimes it works and sometimes it just comes across as boring. Like for me, Avatar.
I'm just thinking of Hulk now going on a journey to find a ring that fits his finger.
Never going to happen. Depends how big he is, because it keeps going up and down.
Yeah.
The thing is, right, they had, and obviously it's a 2 hour 18 movie, but they had so long to make this. They started writing the script for this back in 1990.
Wow.
So Bill Bixby's Hulk didn't meet Thor and Daredevil until like 1991, 1992. So they started writing the script for this while that was still happening. It
13 years to write a shit script.
Yeah, basically. So many different writers as well. They had...
That's probably why it's so overcomplicated if they've had that many people doing it.
J.J.
Many ideas.
J.J. Abrams wrote a script.
Did he?
Got knocked back. Zach Penn, who ended up writing the 2008 one with Ed Norton, he wrote a script. It ended up getting written by a guy called James Seamus and directed by Ang Lee, and they worked together loads.
Right.
But again, considering how shit this is, they both had come off the back of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh.
I mean, which is obviously why they got the gig.
Yeah.
But I mean, how can you go from something like that? Well, I've not seen in years, but I know like it's a cult hit, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And it's well received. And other movies, they both did Brokeback Mountain. So Seamus wrote it and Ang Lee directed Brokeback Mountain. Again, big film, really, really well received movie. How did this end up being this? I don't even know. Would you even say it was a mess? Or was it just boring? That's probably my biggest issue with it.
I'd say it's a boring mess.
See, I don't think it was
Well, it got messy because it got overcomplicated. That's the problem. So that made it messy.
It was massively overcomplicated. We'll talk about the characters. We'll talk about the scenes because there's some big long scenes in this.
Yeah.
But right, two things I need to point out. Firstly, right, obviously the writing we said was shit. The dialogue was crap.
There
was too much of it for a start. Yeah. But it was all really unnatural. So there's one point where Bruce is in, after Bruce, I think he's first hulked out, and he's in the bed, and Nick Nolte's character comes in, and he says, "I'm your dad." And he says, "My parents died when I was a small boy." Who talks like that? A kid. When I was a kid. Not when I was a small boy. My parents died when I was a small boy. And then, when Nick Nolte gets his powers, and the security guard comes in, he goes, really, really menacing, "Do you truly believe that I am separate from you?" It's like, because he's on the because he can't reach him and he picks up the floor. That shit. And then drill him harder. I laughed at that one.
Oh my god, yeah. I was howling at that. That was my favourite line in the whole thing.
Who wrote this?
Drill him harder.
We obviously know who wrote it. Seamus wrote it. But yeah, that was crap. And then, as you said, the whole art comic book style of the movie didn't work. When it was done subtly, it was bearable.
Yeah, it was passable.
But they went too far.
Totally.
It's like multiple shot. The first bit that got me was when Betty meets that, I think it was played by Josh Lucas, meets that dude for the first time. There's like multiple camera angles of Betty walking down the hall.
Yeah.
And then later on in the movie, there's like one helicopter, but there's 4 different shots of the helicopter all moving at the same time. And then
just made no sense.
Like you said,
and
that Josh Lucas getting blown up and spinning.
Do you know what I thought of when he spun?
What?
Yes!
Yes,
It was the Adam West Batman
Do you
in
not
my
think
head.
that's what they were going for, though? I think that's what they were going for. I
don't-
think they were trying to make it like they were trying to do a serious comic book.
Do you reckon it was
style.
like a first attempt at like the gothic comic type thing where it was
I don't know.
trying to go dark with it but still keep the comic-y elements like
I don't know.
that?
It just
didn't work. No, not at all.
It's like what I know we've already mentioned, like when he gets struck by gamma rays, and then
Yeah.
when the dad gets hit with it as well later on.
Yeah.
It's like they just flash green. And
Yeah.
it looked like something from Batman 66. It
Yeah.
really did.
It flashed green. They went into like a pencil sketch version of themselves. You know, like that.
Like that app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of the things on
Turn
Snapchat
yourself
you can
into
do.
a cartoon. It doesn't. It just makes you pale.
Looks like a character from Aha. Take on
That's exactly what it looked like. It did. It did. 100%.
It just wasn't good, man. Like
No,
it really wasn't good.
It was just it was
But-
too much. It was too much things happening. Do you get what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like, let's
yeah.
make the story complicated. Now let's throw this in where we start making comic book panels and crossing them over and stuff. Some of the transitions were good,
Yeah.
but they overused it. If they'd just used that style
Yeah.
when they went from one scene to another, I'd have been okay with
Can I
it.
tell you which bit I did like?
Which one?
Because it's there's not going to be many of these. What I really did like when the Hulk was wiping the mirror and
Yes.
Bruce was on the other side and it was his whole hand against the one finger doing that. I actually quite
I didn't
liked
even
that.
notice that.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Okay.
So there was Bruce one side doing that, like wiping down the condensation off the mirror, and Hulk on the other side. With
I didn't
one
notice
finger.
it was just his one finger.
Yeah, I actually did quite like
See, that is that was, I mean, I think, not that it was all well thought out. That's a lot of effort to put that one shot in. Do you know what? A lot of thinking about it.
Yeah, totally.
And yeah, I suppose, fair play, some things did work, but
Yeah.
then other things.
But it's hard because it's moments that work
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
than, I can't even say full scenes.
No, I
I don't think there was a full scene where I said that was a good scene. I enjoyed that scene.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on what you class as a full scene. There were like certain shots that did, and like I think the first transformation into the Hulk, I quite like that.
Yeah.
But that's still not that's a portion of a scene. Do
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah.
Should we talk about characters then? The actors and the characters.
Yeah.
This had a really good cast. Oh, this had a good cast.
Well, we got Sam Elliott back, didn't we?
we got Sam Elliott. We'll talk about Sam Elliott. So we'll start with Eric Bana.
Okay.
Eric Bana's a legend.
Okay.
Eric Bana's. You don't seem convinced. Do you not like Eric Bana?
I don't know what else he's been in.
He was in. He was in Munich.
Never seen it.
Not seen that for years. He's in Troy.
Okay.
Have you never seen Troy?
I have seen Troy, but I don't really remember it that well.
He's really, really good in that.
Okay.
That was after this.
Yeah.
But I think he played a really decent Bruce Banner in this. I'll be dead honest.
To be fair, I don't think he was bad. I
Wasn't
think
in it much.
he wasn't given the right lines.
No, the dialogue was crap, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
As I said, he wasn't in it much. Apparently, he wasn't happy filming the movie because he said he wasn't. He felt he was hardly in it. It was all Hulk. It was all Hulk scenes basically. Whereas all the other actors got a lot more scenes in the movie because he spent half his time as this big green rage monster dude. I got proper Clark Kent, Christopher Reeves vibes.
Yes.
Loads of times.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was the look or the mannerisms, but I kind of liked that, the way they therefore portrayed Banner as not a wimp, but really, really calm and subdued all the time, apart from when he does the
well, all of his dialogue was like, let's just keep a low voice. And
everybody's was. Apart from Nick Nolte, who was just crazy all the way through, and Sam Elliott, who was just I understand a word of it.
I didn't think he was that bad in this because he was angry a lot, so he shouted more.
There's just something about Sam Elliott that I just can't understand. It's just I can get it like 90%, but there's always a slight mumble to everything he says. Jennifer Connelly, though, the same. I mean, not much of a character, but very wooden.
Betty Ross.
Yeah, but she's a good actress as well, Jennifer Connelly.
She gave me vibes of someone else, and I can't remember who the actress woman is.
A cardboard cut out of the actress woman. She was just, again, it was all her lines were just not very good. I wouldn't even say it was the delivery. At the end of the day, it all boils down to the direction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But again, she's a good actress, and it should have been a good part. And it can be done. I mean, Liv Tyler does a really good job of Betty Ross. She's really animated, and there was nothing in this at all. Even when she's like hates her dad and she's shouting and screaming at her dad. She's never shouting and screaming.
No.
It's always like, I don't like you. I hate you. I don't want to see you again. That's what it was like. It just, there was nothing in it. And then we go from one extreme to another. We go from wooden Jennifer Connelly to crazy Nick Nolte, who played a crazy dude really, really well. Because he's a crazy dude, and he's
honestly,
and he's mentally ill.
He gave me Ethan Hawke vibes from Moon Knight.
He did, yeah.
Like loads,
yeah.
Like even down to his looks.
He was the most. Yeah, he does. He does a little bit. Yeah, he was the most animated character in this. Clearly,
yeah.
He played the part the best.
Yeah,
he looked mental. Because, again, he is. He's a loon. I like to think that when they started filming this, they just found Nick Nolte asleep in the studio because he just hadn't left since the last film he did in 1992, and he just thought, he'll do. Yeah. And at no point does Nick Nolte know what's going on.
No.
Or the script. He probably didn't even get a script. They probably just went, there you go. Eric Banner's your kid. He's like, is he? Fucking hell.
I haven't seen him in years.
Just let him go.
I want to see him.
Let him go. Let him go. You've got superpowers. Have I? Brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Just, yeah.
You turn into a big lightning monster at the end. Fucking randomly. What was that?
I don't know. We'll get there.
I mean, I get what they were doing, but it just, no.
No, it didn't work.
And we're talking about the dogs yet?
In a minute, we'll talk about the dogs. We'll do scenes.
I'm so angry about the dogs.
We'll do scenes.
Okay.
We're there pretty much. Thunderbot Ross. Again, Sam Elliott. Didn't understand most of what he said, but yeah, it's Sam Elliott being Sam Elliott.
He was the rootinest tootinest.
He was the rootinest tootinest. He was good. Right, let's talk about the scenes then. So, first transformation. We'll start with, it makes sense. We'll start with the first transformation. Right, I didn't get why he was angry. At all. He was sat at a computer.
Did you not see him stub his toe?
Seriously? Is that what I was going to say? Is that what happened?
I'm just kidding.
Did he stand up from the desk and hit his knee on the corner of it? He was just sat at this computer getting upset about life in general and then hulked out. Did I miss something, or is that what happened?
It was just so
It was
stupid.
worse than the tyre in the rain in the 1977 one. It wasn't even a minor inconvenience.
I would
like
rather watch him throw a tent.
It was nothing. Or did he just get angry because of the gamma radiation? That's the other thing that I thought. But it didn't make sense. He just got angry. Too many pop-ups on the computer.
Do you never just get angry? That was not a virus.
I don't believe there's housewives here that want to meet me. You liar.
He's fuming because there was no decent porn.
Or it's one of them ones where it comes up with a place that's not where you live, but it's got the same letter as the stars, and he's like, I don't live there.
Oh god.
Maybe that was it. But yeah, right. It looked good. It was a weird look, Hulk.
Yeah.
It was very
vibrant green, wasn't it?
It was very bright green. It was snot green. It was completely snot green. He was his head was too big for his body. I think that's it. It looked like a cartoon.
Yeah.
It looked like, you know when you get like the Avengers cartoons?
Yeah.
And then you get the ones that are sort of aimed at 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
And then you get the ones that are aimed at preschoolers.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looked like the Hulk from that.
Can I ask a question?
He looked like the Hulk from Spider-Man and his friends. That's
Yeah.
what he looked like. His
When
head was too big and his eyes were too big.
When he hulked out,
Yeah.
why did his trousers change colour?
I didn't notice that. The question I was going to have
But
with
he has
the
purple
trousers
pants every time he thingies,
and
but
he never has purple. There's just
I've
his
never seen him wear
boxies.
purple.
He just wears purple boxies. He's only got one pair of purple boxies. He goes inside out, back to front. That does bear the question right, Kate. And you pointed this out. Why does he keep getting big? We'll go through the other scenes, but at one point he's as big as a house.
Yeah.
But his boxies still don't rip. They stretch, and then when he shrinks down, they're just normal size boxies again.
Do you know why?
What? Because
they were made by Edna Mode.
Maybe. Clearly that's it. But that's right. He looked a bit chubby, as I said. It was mocap. I thought, because obviously it did
mocap.
Yeah, it was like they used mocap, so they used the guy in a suit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like they do with Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
So they used Eric Banner's face to make the Hulk's face.
Right.
But they didn't use Eric Banner for the mocap, so they didn't put Eric Banner in the suit. Ang Lee got in the suit himself, the director, because he said the Hulk only exists in my mind, and I'm the only one who knows how he moves. So Ang Lee insisted on getting in, just a little bit. Ang Lee insisted on getting in the suit himself. Do you know what I found out though? Because I had to Google that to find that. In Iron Man 1, you know when he gets the first suit in the cave.
Yeah,
that's Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau did all the mocap for that.
Oh really?
Yeah, they didn't put Robert Downey Jr. in the suit. It was all Favreau.
Because I'm happy.
Exactly. Do you know what I also looked at as well? Because I thought the CG did look a bit shit, but then I thought it was all right. It was just big, and chubby. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I thought, how does it compare to other CG from 2003? Because I thought I'll forgive it a little bit.
Yeah.
But this was the same year as X-Men 2,
right?
Which was decent.
Yeah.
Matrix 2 and 3, which again looked a bit jelly-ish. What else came out? Daredevil with Ben Affleck. Terminator 3, yeah, that was shit. Pirates of the Caribbean.
God, was that 2003?
Yeah. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, though. I mean, look at the difference.
Yeah,
That's what this wanted to be.
Yeah.
That's probably why the story was so OTT, because it was smack bang in the middle of Lord of the Rings, and they probably thought we need to create this big epic thing like Lord of the Rings, and it didn't work.
No,
not at all. And it was also the same year as Elf. And to be fair, the CG was it better than the claymation?
God, I feel old listening to when these came out.
Oh, I had a conversation in Word today, and I just felt so old compared to everybody else. I know this is off topic, right? How old am I? 37. We were talking. So I do mortgages.
Yeah.
But I used to be an estate agent with Anthony.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't an estate agent.
No,
you were an estate agent. I was a mortgages. And we were talking about like what I used to do when I was in the estate agency team, and I figured out that the two girls who work in my office were 8 when I started as an estate agent. That was really depressing. They're 21 now. Do you know what I mean?
Oh God.
Yeah, isn't that depressing?
Yeah.
I'm so old. There you go, listeners. There's an insight into my depression for the day and my how pathetic that is. Anyway, next scene. Nick Nolte, crazy Nick Nolte, sets his dog. Why did he always have dogs with him? How did he get the dogs into the hospital?
I have no idea.
When Eric Banner, we'll get onto the scene with the dogs, but Eric Banner wakes up and just Nick Nolte standing in the corner with 3 dogs next to him in his hospital room.
Mr. Burns.
Wouldn't you just be like, I need to go back. I'm having a dream. It's the morphine. I need to go back to sleep.
Yeah, you'd think.
It was weird. I reckon they're just Nick Nolte's dogs. I reckon they just couldn't. It was like,
Nick, listen, I can't get a sitter.
Leave the dogs in the trailer. No, this is my family. He just didn't want to leave them. So they wrote them in. So this was the second Hulk out. We got the classic, you're making me angry, you won't like me when I'm angry. And that's when we saw him start to get really, really big. I liked that scene when he was in the house with that Josh Lucas dude, the bad guy.
Yeah.
And he turned. There's a moment in it where it sort of not zooms into his face, but it focuses on his face. And everything else moves apart from his face.
Yeah, I did quite like that.
That was decent. I kind of liked that. But he looked too big.
Yeah.
It was a very weird creative decision.
Yeah.
To make him just keep getting bigger and bigger. Again, just another thing to add to the already clustered Hulk lore that they created in this. The dogs then. Anthony, go ahead. Rant about the dogs.
What the fuck happened?
I don't know. No idea. He took some of Bruce's blood when he was in the hospital.
Right.
I didn't see him do that.
And gave it to his dogs.
And gave it to the dogs. Just for shits and giggles.
And the dogs looked like they were from The Mask.
They did look like they did. The whole thing looked like it was from The Mask. The Mask was 10 years before this.
They call me Cuban Pete.
Jig jigger boom, jig jigger boom.
That's what she was singing
This
in the
would have been so much better. This would have been so much better with the musical number. Can you just imagine?
We'll let the dogs out.
Can you just imagine? Just in the house after he's turned into the Hulk, just looking at camera, breaking the fourth wall, go jig jigger boom, jig jigger boom, jig jigger boom.
No, right.
That would have just. Do you know what? That would have been best movie ever. That would have been all the rest of the shit. That would have just made it the best film ever.
Do you know what? Right, on a serious note, though,
go on.
The CGI for the dogs were awful.
Yeah, it was shit. Really, really bad.
It was cartoony.
It was.
It was dark, cartoony,
Yeah.
and it just it did not work for me whatsoever.
No.
Completely took me out of it.
Yeah.
And I had to sit and watch this in 2 sittings, if I'm totally honest, right? After that scene ended, I pressed pause for a second because I was
needed to gather yourself.
Phone, and I saw that I was only an hour and 5 minutes into the film.
Really
and I went, I literally out loud went, "Are you fucking messing?"
It felt like watching all the Lord of the Rings movies, the
Yeah.
extended editions, all at once.
Honestly, like
it was a long movie.
I was like, how is this not over yet? And that was at the dog bit.
I know.
Like, and there was still half of the film.
I know, it's ridiculous. When I arrived at Annie's house before, Annie had like the last 10 minutes left of the movie.
I was like, I'm in the last 5 minutes now. And then I was like, it's not 20.
It felt like an hour. It just went on and on and on.
It just didn't need all of the
It didn't, no.
conversations that it had in it.
It didn't need all these fights.
No.
And they all went on too long.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll give it with the dog fight is that it was different, clearly.
Yeah.
And it was, and I know we hadn't had a Hulk movie before, but I suppose when you get films now,
Yeah.
they don't do anything like that. It's just an evil Hulk.
Yeah.
You'd get him fighting an evil Hulk or soldiers, like in the Ed Norton movie. I quite like the Ed Norton movie, but it's all very predictable and not very exciting or different. This was completely out there.
Yeah.
And you remember it. Do you know what I mean? It's the one thing I remembered from the first viewing 20 or 19 years ago. Fucking hell, that's depressing. But it was a very good choice doing it at night because they looked ridiculous and it would have looked even more. Can I ask a question though with the dogs?
Go on.
We'll get off the dogs in a minute. You know when he killed the dogs?
Yeah.
Did they just like poof into dust like Buffy vampires?
Yeah, it was like green dust. Yeah.
I was sat there thinking, what the hell is what's going on? He just do the final punch and they just turn into green dust. It didn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
So
the fact that she sat in a car and just screamed.
She did.
It annoyed me. I'm not
going
to lie.
Just got on to what you meant about her singing in the car, but yeah, I remember she was there now.
She was just sat in a car watching all this happen.
Yeah. Did she scream?
She just screamed in the car.
To be fair, that was the most emotive she was in the whole movie. The next scene then, we've talked about it already a little bit. Nick Nolte getting his powers. So what is he? Is he like the absorbing man? But then he's not.
No, he's not an absorbing man. It's that his body changes to whatever material that he's holding at the time.
Okay.
That's what I got from it.
You know how I just complained about it just being not just getting a bad Hulk.
Yeah.
We should have just gone with a bad Hulk.
Yeah.
Should have had the dogs and then him turn into a bad Hulk.
Yeah.
That would have been okay. It was a real mixed bag with CGI, that scene.
It was just...
Some of it was weird. When he cut his hand and this ball sack of blood came out of his hand and started hanging there, just why?
I was like, what is happening here?
Looked awful. And then when he put his hand on the steel girder,
yeah,
and it like melted into the steel girder, I thought that looked really good.
Yeah.
And the sound
the blue
of it, the blue one.
Yeah.
And
when he was pulling it and it was like,
it was grating along the steel.
Really enjoyed it.
That looked really clever. You didn't need the blood one though.
No.
This was where they tried to do too much.
Yeah.
It was very Sandman-esque from Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, totally. But what annoyed me then was he did the foot thing with the girder.
Which just looked shit.
Even though his hand was going into the metal.
Yeah.
When he put his foot on that, on the floor, the grid.
Yeah.
It started like looking like the grid, but it wasn't the grid.
Yeah.
That's not how that would work.
No, I know, yeah. It couldn't. That's why I'm saying I don't know what he did. I don't know what his powers were.
It just looked like it welded to it. It didn't make sense visually, at all. And that then took me back out of it again and annoyed me. And then obviously that was where he did his shit line as well.
Yeah. You think I'm separate from you, or separate from me, or something like that?
Yeah.
It didn't work.
No.
We also got the desert fight.
Yeah.
Which I kind of liked, but again, it went on too long. It was like a half-hour fight. So him like running through the desert doing all the jumps, and then he fights the tanks and starts smashing the tanks up. That looked quite good.
Yeah.
Then he did the chase with the helicopters.
How did the tanks get to the desert that quick?
I don't know. He just so happened to happen across a load of tanks in the desert. Yeah, how?
Do you get what I mean?
It doesn't make sense.
No.
Do you know what though? And I know you can just say it's a comic book movie, but everything else was so overly thought out.
Yeah.
How did you miss that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Great detail with everything else to the point where you didn't need
I could have understood the helicopters following and things like that.
Yeah.
But tanks on sand. How did they get
good,
there?
Though. It did look good.
It did look good.
I kind of enjoyed that scene. But again, it just went on far
The one thing
long.
the one thing I didn't like though in that scene was that Hulk picked up when he took the cannon off the tank,
started smashing it into the other one.
Before that, he
Yeah.
walked over to it, tapping his other hand with it like he was.
Like what? And
He's
gone.
like walking, tapping his hand. You know, like when you see those like 50s gangsters with a baseball bat.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just like,
start doing down the street like that.
Like, I was just like, no.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It didn't. The whole scene as well. Again, with it being too long, it didn't do anything for the story either.
No.
It was just like let's throw in an action scene.
Yeah, let's blow some stuff
Exactly.
up.
Then the final battle. Should we call it the final battle?
Yeah.
At the army base.
Yeah.
Right. What? Why? I didn't get it.
No, I didn't get it.
So Sam Elliott locks him up in front of a gamma machine.
Yeah.
And then just brings his dad, knowing who his dad is and what his dad, not what he can do.
No idea.
Why did he bring? Why? Because nobody knows at this stage that the dad has got superpowers.
Yeah.
Was it to try and wind him up to get Hulk to come out? It just didn't make any sense.
No, because he had his eyes closed in the tank, and I thought they were trying to send signals to his brain to make him angry.
Yeah, because he's already done that in the tank. Josh Lucas's character.
Yeah. So
I don't get it. I don't get what the setup, the apparent setup was.
And then they had to drill him harder.
They did have to drill him harder. But the conversation between Banner and his dad went on for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was unnecessary.
It didn't need to be. This should have been like Morbius, a stupid action movie. Morbius in 2003 would have been bloody brilliant.
Yeah.
It should have been this. Do you know what I mean? It just didn't. It just went on for far too long. Then the dad got all these random powers. He was an electrical man. He was a spaceman. I nearly said he wasn't a spaceman. He was lightning,
rock man,
water.
Yeah, it was all the elements.
I didn't get it. And then what did he?
Well,
he
it's
absorbed.
that thing of he can turn into whatever material, I assume.
Yeah, so that's
that you
what,
touch.
But then he turned back into what we said was absorbing. So he absorbed the Hulk's power.
Yeah,
and then did he blow up?
I don't know.
He turned into.
Did he turn into Hulk Crane?
He turned. I don't know.
Well, a load of droplets fell down, didn't they?
He turned into like a big cinema screen because all these like flashbacks started playing on him, which didn't make any sense at all.
No,
I don't get. Anthony, I don't get it.
Honestly, I finished watching it and I was like, "What has just happened?"
I was there. I watched you watching it. We got the 1 year later as well with Hulk with Banner in. I want to say Colombia. I don't know why I'm going with Colombia, but I'm going with Colombia. Maybe it was. And yeah, he did you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. You're making me angry. That was the wrong way round, obviously.
All right, Yoda.
But yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
Was there supposed to be a sequel?
I think there was.
There was. So they wrote 2008 straight after this for it to be a sequel. And then they realised this was shit. And the whole Marvel deal happened and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So they used most of the script as the Ed Norton one.
Oh, okay.
So that could have been the sequel. God, can you imagine another 3 hours of this?
Oh, no.
No.
I couldn't.
Summarise, Anthony. Did you enjoy? How much did you love this movie? Best film ever?
No. Not quite.
No. It wasn't good.
No.
It was. Do you know what though?
At the time, it would.
No, it was. I didn't enjoy it at the time either.
Didn't you?
I didn't. It was boring. I didn't get it.
I mean,
and now it was.
It's
boring
a bit hard. I was
only
13 at the time.
Okay, I was a bit older.
But
I was 18.
Pretty much would have been like I could easily get bored at that like that because there was just too much chatter. Yeah,
just when it was just overly long.
Yeah,
much longer than it needed to be. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah,
hasn't aged well. The CG most of the CG hasn't aged well. Do you know what though? It had an opportunity to be a really good movie, and it came out. I said it amongst a load of good movies.
Yeah,
and it's the Hulk. I mean, how'd you balls up a Hulk movie? I mean, it only had to live up to the 1977 Bill Bixby one, and it didn't.
No,
it did. We've
I'd
watched.
rather watch him fight a bear.
I would rather. If I had to, do you know what? See, genuinely, if somebody said to me now, you've now got to sit down and either watch the 1977 Hulk or this,
I'd choose 1977 Hulk.
100% all day long.
Yeah.
This was just like I know I've said boring so many times. It was boring.
Yeah, it was dull.
Nothing happened. It was really, really, really dull.
Yeah.
Should we do Pod Fans Assemble? Should we see what the listeners thought?
Yeah, I'll be eager to know what they thought.
Pod Fans Assemble.
So, Utterly Random Guy said, at the time when I first saw this, I enjoyed it. Now, it's just weird to me. The CGI was pretty bad, and that comic book-like transition certainly gave me a headache. Yeah. Some of the fight scenes were cool, but mostly dark, especially the absorbing man fight. Couldn't see anything that time. Yeah, I struggled to see because of the darkness.
I didn't get what was going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched this in like prime location for it, you know, like all the lights were off.
Yeah.
I still couldn't figure out what was happening.
Sheldon Pink said, I can say that this movie reminds me that my boyhood crush on Jennifer Connelly still exists. Not much more to add. No. But it is a stepping stone on the way to better comic book movies.
Yeah, to be fair. Yeah, this was the how not to do it, and then they learned from it.
Every time I see Jennifer Connelly, though, I want to automatically say Jennifer Coolidge.
You?
I'm taking the dog. Yeah, it just...
This would have been so much better with Jennifer Coolidge.
Could you imagine?
Going chick chicka bum, chick chicka bum, chick chicka bum.
Oh, God. Diabolical Pod...
I want to watch The Mask. I'm going to go and watch The Mask.
Diabolical Pod said, stupid poodles aside. I really like it. It's let down by the Hulk design for sure, but that's not a huge issue when the characterization is this good. And while I'm sure the boss fight against a cloud of matter or whatever sounded good on paper, it doesn't translate well to screen. Yeah, fair.
I know what Hulk looked like. He looked like a Cabbage Patch Kid.
He did.
He did. 100%.
Maury just wrote, "What's our house apples?"
I don't even know what it means, but I know
I
it
assume
works.
it's negative, and I want to use it every day now.
It works so well. It just suits it.
Jeremy Flynn said, I can't even see because I'm laughing. Jeremy Flynn said, boring. I don't know. Only watched it once. Prefer MCU version. I think we all do, Jeremy.
I
don't think you're. I
prefer the 1977 version. So it says a lot.
Yeah. Heart Attack said, as a little kid, all I can think of is, this is Heart Attack. Sorry. As a little kid watching
You mean
this,
as a small boy watching this?
Yes, as a small boy
watching
this, I loved it. But now, as I'm older, it's hard to watch this movie all the way through because of how bad it is.
And how long it is. It's hard to watch it all the way through.
Morby Tom said, I watched it as a kid and I loved it. One of the CBMs I have watched, but I love this movie only because of that. Kind of the same reason when some people love corny 80s stuff.
Fair play. If you've got memories of it, I mean, I've got memories of it, but they're not good. But if you've got fond memories of it, and it's got a special place in your heart.
It becomes like your own little cult classic, doesn't it? When it's a nostalgic kind of... Yeah.
Mine's He-Man and She-Ra, The Secret of the Sword.
Fair.
There you go, learn something about Nick every day, every week.
Matt Spectro through the multiverse said, oh boy, I really wanted to like this movie. I like Eric Bana and Jennifer Connelly, and some of Hulk action was really good. Unfortunately, I don't think the CGI was quite there yet, and lack of a solid villain doesn't help either scale. Of 1 to 5, I rank it about a 2.
How can you have a 2-hour, 18-minute movie
totally read that wrong.
without a bad guy?
I don't know. Can I just reread that bit? Because I totally did it wrong.
Do it again.
Unfortunately, I don't think the CGI was quite there yet, and a lack of solid villain doesn't help either. Scale of 1 to 5, I rank about a 2. I just breathed in the wrong place, but it ruined the sentence.
Go for it. We know what you meant.
Ben said, a nice experiment for Ang Lee, a true Hulk, and very adorable Jennifer Connelly.
To be fair, experiment is probably the right word.
Yeah.
At least people then looked at this and went, don't go down the comic book.
Don't do it that way.
No, and do you know what? Fair play.
Yeah.
To a degree, we wouldn't have the MCU that we have now.
But then you have something like Scott Pilgrim that really worked.
Yeah, but it's just doing it in the right way.
Because it was a different tone, yeah.
They didn't try to make the comic book style serious.
No, and that's the thing. It just didn't work with that tone.
You've got to make cock-ups like this to then get to the good stuff. Clearly, Warner Brothers haven't watched Hulk 2003. Somebody just send it to Warner Brothers and DC. Yeah. Send them this and go, this is how you don't make a movie. And then they'll go, oh, okay.
Smash Trivia said, I think it has a weak last act, but I love this Hulk movie. I love how big Hulk is, the shade of green they chose, the snot green.
Snot green.
I love the comic booky stylization transitions, and finally my biggest thing I love as someone who had an abusive father is that it actually showed Bruce's abusive father.
It did. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. That was the last one on Hulk. We also then had a couple of reactions about the Batgirl cancellation, so let's go.
We were going to, weren't we? Go on.
Utterly random guy said, that was unexpected. I hope they don't cancel Blue Beetle.
Apparently that's safe at the moment.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, we don't.
And James Gunn told us Peacemaker Season 2 safe.
That's safe as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Flash is safe as well.
And then Ragnarok 265 said, with most DC content being cancelled and their SDCC presence being only about Shazam and Black Adam, it definitely feels like they're finally trying to get the shit together and make a cinematic universe with some continuity. It's a weird decision, but it may be on the right path.
Yeah, but we've been saying this for years.
I know, and we say that only about Shazam, but Shazam makes a big mention of the other actors, and there were clips of those actors.
Some of them.
Other heroes meant. And
Heroes.
Clips of the actors, yeah.
Yeah.
So, again...
I could talk about it for hours as to what I think they're doing and what I think they should do, but that's for another podcast episode.
Yeah.
I was going to say when we get to the Batgirl movie, but that's never going to happen. It's going to leak.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
It has to, but they can, because if they write it off for tax, which is the way they're going,
yeah,
they can never monetize that project.
No.
So I assume that means they can't do merch, they can't do toys, they can't do anything for that project anymore. So it's got to leak. Someone will leak it. I wouldn't be surprised if the directors leaked it.
I wouldn't be surprised because it's their work. They just want to show their work.
What can they sue them for? You sue somebody for damages, like you've cost us money. So if you leak a movie
that can't be monetized, you're not gonna.
Yeah, you'd sue somebody for leaking that movie because you've cost us money from monetizing that movie.
Yeah,
you can't monetize it.
No,
just give it out for free.
Yeah.
What harm will it do?
Exactly.
I mean, you already look like a shower of shitholes anyway. Sorry, I couldn't think of anything else to say.
And do you know what? I said this to you the other day. The thing that annoyed me is that Warner Brothers handled COVID so well. And there was a big there was a big thing about making sure staff were paid and all of that kind of stuff, where other people were cutting things and dropping things and all of that kind of stuff. And there was a big thing about how well Warner Brothers had looked after
and now they're
cast members.
Well, it's the new guys coming, Zaslav, isn't it? He's come in.
Yeah.
Again, we're probably happening now while we're recording.
Yeah.
But there's rumours that lots of HBO Max employers are going to lose their jobs like today. They're just laying loads of people off. So they've run out of money. They've just run out. How can Warner Brothers and Discovery run out of money and have to do stupid things like this?
No idea.
It's ridiculous.
Honestly.
Anyway, that's another rant. Sorry. Before we wrap up, let's do the patron shout-outs. So thanks to Geeky8, Kenneth, Night Spearhead, Richard, Jessica, Avid Gamer, and Anthony Wells for supporting the show. Patrons get exclusive access to our bonus podcast, Into the Podverse, with new episodes every month. Last month we did Stranger Things Season 4, Volume 2.
Yeah.
And Umbrella Academy Season 3.
Yeah.
This month we were gonna do the 1980s Hulk. We don't know what we're gonna do now. What are we gonna do? Do you know what we could do?
What?
See, this is it, listeners. You get to listen to our discussions. The Sandman series is coming out tomorrow on Netflix, and we're not going to get time to cover that on the show. So should we do that?
Spider-Man, Sandman.
No, the DC. It's a DC comic. It's a whole 10 episodes. Apparently, that one with Jenna Coleman.
Oh yeah.
And Mark Hamill is voicing a pumpkin man. So there you go. I'll show you the video.
Love it.
I'll show you the video later. Should we do that? There you go. We've decided on the show. This month's Patreon will be a review of The Sandman Season 1 on Netflix. So get watching it this weekend. It's out now when you're in the future. Hello. Hello, people in the future. I've done that before. Shit, that wasn't funny. Anyway. I'm tired. Anyway, we'll do that next month. So if you want to access all that other content and all the comedy gold that you've got to come, then you can pay £4 per month, or sign up for £4 a month, should we say?
Yeah.
At patreon.com/thatsuperhero thing, or at the link in the description. You also get access to the Discord server as well. You can talk to us, you can talk to the other patrons, and you can listen to the show being recorded live. Otherwise, thanks for listening to the show. Don't forget to come back next week for our review of Ed Norton's Incredible Hulk from 2008. probably talking about some other DC movies that have been cancelled as well, and other comic book movie news. If you don't already, make sure to check out our socials at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for all the latest updates on the show and calls to action for next week's Podfans Assemble. As we said at the start of the show, if you've enjoyed the show, please make sure to subscribe on your favourite podcast platform and leave us a rating or review on Apple or Spotify. It helps out massively. As we said, the more subscribers and the more 5-star reviews we get, the higher we go up the charts and the more people can find the show. Other than that, though, guys, I think that's us. Something's probably been cancelled in the 2 hours we've been talking, so we're going to read the news and find out that. We'll also see what the sort of bloodbath at HBO Max has been now as well.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go home and I'm going to go to bed because I'm still knackered from watching the Hulk for 2.5 hours. And he looks like he's about to pass out. Other than that, though, guys, thanks for listening. See you next week.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.